Meet the South African masters of horror. Making it big in Hollywood. South Africa has long been a wellspring of unique storytelling. But in recent years, a new generation of horror visionaries from the Rainbow Nation is redefining the global scarescape. These SA-born talents are no longer just exporting their stories, they're directing, producing, and starring in major Hollywood horror projects that are turning heads and leaving audiences sleepless. From genre-bending thrillers to supernatural tales, South African creatives are making their terrifying mark in Let's dive into the hauntingly brilliant minds behind this cinematic invasion. 1. Jaco. Bouwer, the art horror, auteur Jaco Bouwer, stunned international audiences with his 2021 eco-horror film Gaia, a surreal, atmospheric thriller that unspooled like a fever dream in the forests of South Africa's Tsitsikamma. The film earned widespread acclaim at the SXSW Film Festival and was later picked up for distribution in the US, solidifying Bouwer's reputation as a rising force in horror. With its blend of myth, ecological dread, and body horror, Gaia established Bouwer as a master of slow-burn terror. Hollywood quickly took notice, and Bouwer has since signed on to direct a mystery horror feature for a major studio, rumored to involve ancient African folklore and Lovecraftian undertones. I'm drawn to horror because it allows us to confront what we fear most, whether it's death, nature, or ourselves, Bouwer said in a recent interview. 2. Nosipho Dumisa from Crime to Creeps, best known for her 2018 thriller Number 37, often dubbed South Africa's Rear Window. Nosipho Dumisa has pivoted from crime thrillers to supernatural horror, and Hollywood is here for it. After helming the Netflix series Blood and Water, Dumisa caught the attention of producers in Los Angeles, leading to a deal to direct a horror feature exploring ancestral curses in an urban Cape Town setting. The untitled project, set to release in 2026, is described as a gritty, emotionally charged story with spiritual horror at its core. Dumisa's deep cultural roots and her talent for building tension are quickly earning her comparisons to Jordan Peele and Jennifer Kent. 3. Neil Blomkamp, sci-fi meets horror. While Neil Blomkamp made his name with District 9, his venture into horror with Demonic 2021 revealed his darker inclinations. The film, which combined cutting-edge virtual production techniques with psychological and supernatural horror, divided critics but showcased Blomkamp's knack for genre-bending narratives. Now back in the spotlight, Blomkamp is reportedly developing a high-budget horror thriller with Universal Pictures. An alien abduction meets demonic possession saga inspired by African mythologies and military folklore. There's a rich vein of horror in South African storytelling. It's primal, personal, and universal all at once, Blomkamp noted. For Sharto Copley, actor turned horror producer Sharto Copley, best known as the star of District 9, Elysium, and Hardcore Henry, has quietly carved a niche behind the scenes in Hollywood horror. As a producer, Copley has been backing smaller, indie horror projects with bold voices, including one slated to debut at Sundance 2026. His upcoming collaboration with Blumhouse is a claustrophobic, one-location horror called Red Dust, set in a dilapidated Karoo farmhouse. Copley plays a grieving father, haunted by a malevolent presence tied to colonial sins. The film explores guilt, land, and legacy in chilling new ways. 5. Jenna Kato Bass folk horror with a purpose. Jenna Kato Bass has emerged as one of the most innovative South African filmmakers working today. Her film Good Madam Lunguvam, which premiered at TIFF in 2021, is a haunting commentary on post-apartheid domesticity wrapped in eerie psychological horror. The film, now streaming on Shudder, brought Bass international acclaim for her ability to blend social commentary with chilling suspense. Hollywood executives have since tapped her to adapt a best-selling African horror novel for a U.S. audience. Horror gives us the language to explore the residue of trauma, personal, political, and historical. Base shared. 6. The Xhosa horror wave, a new movement emerges beyond individual talents. A collective surge of horror storytelling is rising from South Africa's Xhosa-speaking creatives. These emerging filmmakers, many trained in Cape Town and Johannesburg, are revitalizing African folklore with a terrifying modern twist. Short films like Umthunzi, The Tokoloshi, and Indaba Kamagalid have gained traction at international horror festivals, including Fantasia and Screamfest. These shorts often feature indigenous spirits, ancestral curses, and rural-urban clashes, giving voice to generational fears in thrilling new formats. Production houses like Yellowbone Entertainment and Restless Pictures are championing these voices, offering a launchpad for SA's next horror superstar. 7. Hollywood welcomes SA horror. Why now? The global horror market is booming, and Hollywood is more open than ever to international voices. South Africa offers a rare trifecta: rich folklore, political history, and diverse landscapes perfect for horror backdrops. Add to that a wave of bilingual and genre-savvy filmmakers, and it's no surprise that the industry is turning to South Africa for its next big scare. Studios like A24, Blumhouse, and Netflix are actively scouting for horror scripts rooted in African traditions. Even Jordan Peele's Monkey Paw Productions is reportedly in talks with a South African director for a Pan-African horror anthology. 8. What sets South African horror apart? While horror is universal, SA horror has a distinct flavor. It's layered, with cultural commentary, historical wounds, and a potent blend of oral traditions and ancestral beliefs. Themes like displacement, spirits of the land, colonial ghosts, and generational trauma surface repeatedly, giving South African horror both depth and bite. The scares aren't always jumpy, they're psychological, creeping, and emotionally resonant. "We don't just want to frighten people," said one SA screenwriter. "We want to leave a scar that teaches." Looking ahead, the future of SA horror in Hollywood. The South African horror boom is still unfolding, but its impact is undeniable. These filmmakers aren't just participating in global horror trends, they're reshaping them. Whether it's through slow-burn psychological dread, terrifying folklore, or blood-soaked allegory, SAZ's masters of horror are making Hollywood a scarier and richer place. Upcoming projects to watch for: The Calling Tree, a supernatural thriller from Nosipho, Dumisa, set in the Cape Flats. The Last Sangoma Jaco base's U.S. debut, exploring shamanic lineage in an elite New York family. Blood in the Baobab, a Pan-African horror anthology from multiple SA filmmakers. Backed by Netflix. As audiences grow increasingly hungry for fresh, diverse horror stories, South African creatives are ready to serve up nightmares that are bold, boundary-breaking, and deeply rooted in truth.